Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to do a bit more work on my 20,000 bricks under the sea cabinet, specifically designing what is going to go at the end of this sea tunnel. Now, although this sea tunnel is still under construction, with a certain crab stealing a certain hammer. That's my favourite part of the whole scene. I had always intended for this to link up with a second base on this level, buried deep into the rock face. That will be in addition to the larger base that we've got sort of in the water itself with all these pipes and tubes and all the rest of it. And the rock face itself would then blend seamlessly into the background where we've got a rock face in the right place. So essentially what I want to do is, well, two levels really, an outside where we've got almost a quarter of a pyramid sort of going up to a point here that blends in with that backdrop, and into that I'll incorporate this airlock door so we can have air on the inside of our base, because yes, I'll be having the cross section of the inside visible in this corner, and we'll actually be able to peek inside this base by looking through the side glass of the cabinet. So yeah, that'll be a really interesting view, I hope. And then as for this great big pipe that's coming down from our oil rig, I'll have to work out where that goes later, but it's not joining up with this base. I've just tucked it in there out of the way. We'll have to have that linking down here in a different scene. So yeah, a second base in a rock face with a view from the inside. Sounds good. Good. Well, here we are a little bit further on, and we've got our rough shape of the rock face, but I can't connect the airlock directly onto this 45-degree butt piece, partially because, well, it's far too jagged and it will need a good connection, but also because the sea tunnel that this has to connect seamlessly with is not coming in at 45 degrees because it's mounted using a 3-4-5 triangle technique, so essentially it will be coming in slightly ajar at 53.1 degrees. So I want this to marry up with that perfectly. So essentially I'll have to connect this to a wall of brick engraved, pretending to be rock, coming at the same angle. So I have to connect that in this area here using the same 3-4-5 technique. So that will be slightly off 45 degrees, but I will use this piece above it using the usual connection method, just to disguise it into that rock face. And then the contrast of different angles should make it look really natural, I think. That's the plan, anyway. So that's the beginnings of the outside. And then on to the beginnings of the inside. Now, this room isn't going to be directly connected to the airlock. I guess that one would sort of go into a corner and go in there. We won't be able to see that. But the back of the cabinet will be there, and we'll be able to see through the side glass into this room, which I've tiled out in a kind of hospital kind of tile theme in order to give it a medicinally sort of lab type feel, because I want this to be a laboratory where this chap is working, and he's got a wonderful torso from one of the Ultra Agent sets that says AC Research. That came in 70169, Agent Stealth Patrol from 2015, where AC Research stands for Astor City, but we could make it stand for something else. Ideas in the comments section, because I reckon there's something evil going on in this lab. There's always something evil going on in my builds, isn't there? Something nefarious. Kind of makes my humour work, that. So anyway, he's on the inside, and we can put him on a jumper plate there, giving us a wave. But I thought I'd also do some computers along this short wall, and I built a little computer bank to go straight in there with the obligatory yellow mug for your tea, but then I realised I did have actually some very appropriate computer screens that I'd put in a different bag of my storage technique, which includes these ones with this wonderful fish on. And I thought maybe I could use just one of those alongside this. They came in a few of the diver sets of the late 90s, including 6442 Stingray Explorer from 1997, where it's in the back section of that sub. But another one I've got is this lovely one in old light grey, with fish on one side and a map of the seabed in the other, and maybe that is helping them do some research on whatever's here. That one came in the set 6435 Coast Guard HQ in 1999, and it's unique to that set. So I think that's the best one. However, when this is in the cabinet and you'll be able to see in kind of through this angle, you're never going to be able to see it. So that seems a waste. So I'm going to use one of these because I've got more than one, save that for somewhere better and incorporate it into that setup and stick it all there. Oh, then we've just got to decide what it is that we're testing on. Or should I say, because it's evil, who am I testing on? Oh no! Yes, sadly, it's the poor swamp creatures. Two of these have been captured by the evil scientists and the evil divers and are being tested on. So they're being kept in tanks, which is very upsetting. I think you'll agree, but that's the way it's going. That's where we're heading with this lab. So what I need to do next is create two kind of storage tanks for two captured swamp monsters in here. And then the nasty scientist can be doing his research on them. Okay, so two swamp monsters, or what I really should call them now is sea monsters, because they're kind of mer people, in what will be tanks. And I'm using one of the large burnt pieces inside out as a kind of cave for almost a semi sort of environment for them with sand on the bottom and so on. And then I can use half cylinder pieces with a red stripe along the top to seal them in. So the scientists can do their evil work, and they're not very happy, as you can see. They're having a bit of a sense of humour failure, as is very understandable. And I've started decorating this whole scene with these very sciencey stickers, one for each tank monitoring the conditions inside, and something on the top for security, and even more as well. This one saying AC research and a no access sign as well. They're all from the Ultra Agent set Toxita's Toxic Meltdown from 2014, which is set 70163, where they were containing crystals, but here obviously a different sort of containment going on. And the set when I bought this way back was quite sun damaged, and some of these are a bit sun faded on one side, but on the other side they're fine. So I'll use that side forward. I'm going to put that in there, and then I'll start bringing the tanks to a close by pushing all of that on top, and we've got the very bottom section of our internal room. And I suppose if I put the scientist with his wonderful back print on looking at one of the guests, then it's a pretty good scene to see from the outside, I think you'll agree. And we can see exactly what's going on. It's quite interesting for what is a very small area. And there's some really nice stickers and prints going on there. So yeah, I like that a lot. I love the floor, actually. It's sad when the floor is almost your favourite part of a build, but I think that'll look good through the side with our cutaway for the edge, of course. So then all we need is a security camera, just in case there's a breakout hanging from up here. And I think I can start to bring the cave in. And what I think I'm going to do is kind of start enclosing it as well, because we want the outside to, you know, ramp in as well. So that's what I'm going to try and do next. Hey, this is starting to look like an evil laboratory now. Fantastic. It's the security camera, I think, that does it. It really gives it a bit of a sinister air. I'm hoping that will be all right in that position. I could always turn it 90 degrees on that clip if I have to. The reason being that this corner, which will be the very corner of the cabinet, has got the beading that holds all of the glass pieces together. And that's indeed why I've got this sort of zigzag cutaway here that's going to have to be the case all the way up just to accommodate that bit of the fixtures. But this is starting to come in a little bit now. I've got another burnt piece up there to save on bricks, and then I can actually use the inside of one of the corner ones to go on there to really start enclosing this whole area. Unfortunately, at the top of that, it's already got that zigzag cutaway, so I can build up that so it's exactly the right size, and it should be really snug against the corner of the cabinet. So yeah, there is our very sort of almost natural looking cave on the inside, either as a factor of it being bored out for use as a lab, or maybe it was natural in some way and just pumped dry of water. Who knows? So that looks good for the inside. It's been a really interesting build in a way, because every time you add a brick on the inside, it kind of affects the outside as well. And this is one segment that is almost finished with loads of connection points for future plants and fish and so on, and lots of details in all sorts of different colours. I've got normal light and dark grey, but then I've got old light grey on occasion. There's one in there. Old dark grey, that one and this burnt piece here. And then dark green, sand green, olive green, all sorts of stuff to make it look really natural. And if I told you, for example, that in there is one of these medium burnt pieces, you might not believe me. You can sort of see it when they're side by side, but they're completely disguised when you don't know. And that's a good thing, really, because we can't have this regular pattern repeating all over the cabinet. We have to disguise these pieces absolutely as much as possible. So that's good. Then we're going to have the door, as I say, roughly in here. Though I don't think we're going to have time to do that today. And then we can have the other diagonal corner burnt piece about there. So that is what we're going for. Very nice. Cool. So I've only got a little bit more time today, so I'm probably going to finish up this sort of section of the outside and finish all of the inside if there's any more to do. And then we'll finish the rest of this sort of section and all the outside, adding fish and nature and all the rest of it to the outside next time. But it's looking good already, I think. All right, I'm really happy with that. Obviously, there's still big chunks of this to do, and it'll come out further and have a mounting point for our door at the 53.1 degree angle required. But what I've done is, yeah, really nice, I think. It really goes quite high, higher than I expected it would be at the beginning, partially to enclose the back, but partially also to meld with that backdrop that we're going to be having on the back of the cabinet here. And you can see what I meant when I said it was a quarter of a pyramid, just chopped by two great big guillotines to represent the two edges of the cabinet. But the bit that we have done with a lot more detail disguises those burps very well, uses lots of different textures and connection points and all the rest of it, and it'll get disguised even more when we've got all that sea life on it as well. So yeah, I'm really liking that. It'll be really good when the tunnels are connected, for sure. But arguably the highlight of today is our inside scene, which is, well, not so much a funny one perhaps, but a bit of a dark one with the poor swamp creatures that came with the set 9461, the swamp creature. That was a Monster Fighter set from 2013, in their captured tanks with those nice stickers, prints and the fish screen and all the rest of it, and that security camera. And that floor, I absolutely love that floor. And then we've got the cutaway here that hopefully will miss the camera, and the cutaway continuing right up to the top. You see the same shape there, so it can fit right up flush against both of the panes of glass in the cabinet when we put it in next time. And that is where we're going to be leaving it for today. Bit of a shame, but yeah, very good for next time. Looking forward to it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be doing the next part of our wonderful mall series, continuing the second floor. I think we'll be doing the front section. I've got it all planned out. It's going to be awesome. This is the bit that I've been looking forward to the most, I think, out of the entire mall. So that should be a good episode. Then a haul on Wednesday with some subscriber packages as well. And then, well, I think we'll have to go back to this next Friday to get this finished, covered in plant life and so on, all attached to the sea tunnel and in the cabinet, of course. Absolutely fantastic. So until all of that, see you! Lovely floor.